A big hello and a warm welcome to all of you amazing and beautiful people out there. Welcome to my channel. This is a collective reading. And if you're listening to this, then you call yourself to this particular message. In the world of inner work, you are using me as a tool, as a medium, to go through something that you yourself are a match to. We always take responsibility for our own actions and for our own well-being, and remember that emotions are also a portal that help us to create physical reality. Your emotions help you to leap quantumly. So let's get started and jump right into the message to find out what source wants you all to know, wants all of us to know. This is a very sensitive channeling, and all those people who resonate with it, we are also sending you a lot of love, and you are a beautiful child of God, of Source. Never forget that, because this channeling deals with an emotional wound of someone who as a child always felt that they were not, the child felt that it was not loved by their parents. Now this is a concern that is faced by people in the Twinflame ascension journey, and when anyone goes through this kind of problem or this kind of emotion, it leads to a number of problems that they have to combat via inner work or via just dealing with life. Many of you are actually healing their wounds of narcissistic abuse. Many are healing their wounds of sexual trauma or sexual abuse. Many are dealing with wounds of poverty consciousness. Many are dealing with guilt, shame, fear. And despite being such nice individuals, such nice people with such a beautiful heart, with so many gifts and talents and all those wonderful things, many a times they are also not able to connect with the essence of true love within. A lot of things can happen. There are potential outcomes when children feel unloved by their parents, and not only this happens in childhood, so childhood goes by, they don't realize it so much at that point in time because of many reasons. But when they grow into adults, when the programming kicks in and it's literally on the face, and now they have this whole life to go through, so many years to go through, they have this sense of low self-esteem and self-worth. And this is happening despite good looks. Sometimes this is happening despite all of their creativity, all of their niceness, all of their empathetic hearts, and them having lots of skills. So despite having so many wonderful qualities about themselves, they still feel low self-esteem, and this is a result of lack of parental love and affection that leads to feelings of inadequacy and low self-esteem. So in this channeling session, I am actually reading into the energy of those people who are dealing with this pain, and they are working with this pain, and they are healing the wounds of this nature. This person may struggle with difficulties in recognizing their own value and capabilities, or in the past they have witnessed this problem, they have gone through this problem, and due to this whole situation and scenario, another problem exists in their life which they have to fight, which they have to ward off, which they have to be very strong about while dealing with it, is trust issues and fear of intimacy. When such children are growing up, when they experience, and let me tell you, there can be a number of reasons that the child feel like that. There could be many reasons in a household. It's not always about blaming the parents, but I feel as a society and as a world, as a planet, we people need to take responsibility for giving a beautiful life to children. If so many children are now adults, are suffering with mental issues, mental health problems, intimacy issues, relationship problems, or in general not able to accept who they are, even if they are not willing to be in a relationship, it's all happening because they have so much fear of intimacy. Because without this parental love, people have so many trust issues and they have so much difficulty forming close relationships. People who have fear of intimacy, they also hesitate to open up and trust other people because they've got wounded so many times. So wounds don't work like they have one wound and they have to heal it. Wounds are basically like portals. They keep attracting the same type of wounds again and again. And finally they reach a point, or they reach a day, or they reach a moment in their life where they cannot take it anymore. So there are many things that happen. Sometimes they go into a deep dark night. Sometimes they just shut themselves, into a bubble. They don't want to go outside of it. They feel a number of emotions which may not be that pleasant. And then after a while they try to, lift themselves up and heal themselves from those traumatic experiences. But it takes a lot of work and effort. But the root cause, the main problem is the wound. This main wound is like it needs healing at the root. This needs to go. This pain, this emotion, this fear needs to go. These people also have had attachment related difficulties because there has been an absence of secure attachment with the parents. It impacts the child or the adult's ability to form healthy attachments in their adulthood life. And maybe even in teenage, even in childhood, maybe they had this problem. But as I said, that it was not that apparent. It becomes more and more in the face, apparent as they grow up, because they have so much trouble developing secure and trusting relationships. And either they will be too attached with a person, or they would become too avoidant towards a person. And then there will always be a confusion, and they will always be like, they don't know which side to go. They'll always have two voices in their heads. I'm also being shown that they keep trying to please their parents or their siblings or other family members who have a more secure bond, and it could be also because of their nature. Maybe their family members simply didn't know. They were not trained. As a society, as a world, we are not that trained to handle sensitive children or people who have spiritualistic needs or people who are a bit detached. So when they are detached as a child, they want to do their own things, they want to enjoy their own things. That's the time when the society and the school and the parents, they keep telling them it's not good, you got to focus in studies, you got to get good grades, you got to get good marks, you got to be like this, you got to be like that, you have to be a good child. So the child doesn't know like what is good and what is bad, because they may or they may not even be very much into those things. Like maybe they don't like to go through the educational system in the way that it is. Maybe they want some alternative. Maybe they want to study something else, or they want to be homeschooled, or they want to go to some other place, or they like to travel. So people are not aware about many things like human design. They don't study astrology or astronomy as such. They don't study emotions. The emotional intelligence of many people is any which way very low. So when their emotional intelligence is so low, they themselves are just acting like clones and robots. But the child is taking all of this very personally. The child is literally, feeling bad. This wound, and this is a very big wound, okay? And this, as I said, this wound develops in such a way that it will create more such narcissistic relationships or, unhealthy relationships, traumatic relationships, or empty relationships. The child maybe feels that the parents did not support the child, or during the childhood they may not realize it, but when they grow up, they start making comparisons, or they start looking at other people. And as I said, it's a wound. It's not real. It's totally not real, because every person is protected and safeguarded by the universe. Every person has their own spirit guides. Every person has their own set of individual gifts and talents and skills. But certain things, when they go missing, this is the situation that arises where you have to heal that wound. And I can very strongly read, I can strongly pick onto energies today in this session. It could also be because I did speak to some children who were going through toxic relationships with their own parents. I saw them crying. I had to like hang out with them a bit. So I think because of that whole emotional portal that has opened up today, I'm able to, attract this channeling much more clearly. Sometimes we just have to see it again. I mean, obviously it was traumatic for me also to sit with children, or sit with specifically one child who had this problem of being in a family where the parents are physically abusive or emotionally abusive, or they just don't understand this child, and the child is depressed in a very strange way. So this type of upbringing creates bipolarity in the child. Sometimes the child is happy, sometimes the child is not. So it's very important to heal them with the help of spirituality. I obviously have taught him and other such children who come to me to practice solar plexus sound. They chant the solar plexus sound, they chant it repeatedly, and they personally told me that they feel better. They personally have told me many times, many children have walked up to me and told me that they feel much better, very peaceful, very relaxed. At that young age, if they can feel the change in their aura or in their life, it's commendable, then we adults must do it. We adults must also chant or listen to this sound every single day and practice it as much as we can. So this child and all the other children that I speak with who come to me for counseling and therapy, they always share these things with me. And then when they start working on their self, like these are very awakened children actually, I must say. I mean, it takes a long time for people to figure out that they need to do inner work, or they need to process their emotions. They may not even know these words. They may not be aware about awakening. They may not be aware about many things of this nature. But some of these children at a very young age, they understand and they like this type of content. Imagine, they like this type of content. They watch videos that even adults don't watch. So it's very commendable. But we are all children. Sometimes I also feel that we are all children who are trying to heal themselves, who have grown up into adults, but still that child, that wounded child is still around, and it wants to be loved, it wants to be hugged, it wants to be taken care of. It wants to be shown that everything will be okay. You are supported, you are guided. So these children have also told me, and the channeling is also telling me, that a lot of these parents are extremely enamored by materialistic things, and they create a very big fear in the children. They create competition, they create jealousy, they create an environment, an atmosphere where they are competing in a very negative way. Like, it's not healthy competition. It's also poverty consciousness, because if the mother or the father keeps saying, we can't do this because of money, we can't do that because of money, oh, look at that person so rich, oh, look at this lady so rich, oh, look at this item, this thing, all of it. So the child starts feeling that, I lack something. And when they go to the parents for support and for love and being given, they deserve an environment which is full of relaxation. I mean, these children and the children who are listening to me right now, I mean to say the adults who were also children once, who are listening to me, who have this wound. Some of you might not have this wound on a daily basis, but there are days, maybe on days when you have hormones kicking in, or some of the ladies when they are going through PMS, and some of the men who could be going through some kind of stress. They also want to be in an environment, in an atmosphere which is very relaxed, which is calming, which is soothing, which has a positive aura, or which has an attitude which makes them feel totally carefree. Those children who get to live in a relaxed environment, a carefree atmosphere as a child, they grow up naturally into an adult who has significant impact on their outlook of life. This type of programming gives a person more inner peace, playfulness, and joy. They are actually encouraged to explore, to play, to foster a sense of happiness, and it allows the child to have the freedom to engage in creative activities, hobbies, and there is a reduced level of stress. Now, let me tell you something which might shock you a bit. I'm also been channeling while doing this particular collective message, while sharing it. I'm also being shown some of the children who have all of the materialistic possessions, they've got all of the money, but they are not happy. So, in both cases, whether it's an enabled narcissist or whether it's the ignored children, in both the cases, materialistic objects have been given a big value, but it does not make anyone happy, whether it's the lack of it or whether it's the excess of it. It will not make a child an emotionally resilient adult. Okay, so a secure foundation is provided in a place where the environment is relaxed, where people are not haphazard, where people are not in some kind of dilemma all the time, where adults are very careful of what to share and what not to share, where they have a healthy balance of discipline and playful activity, and the child is also taught authenticity. All the children are taught authenticity, appreciated for being curious, and they are also loved for their own individual nature. I mean, there are children by nature they are talkative, or there are children by nature they don't like to talk so much. But it does not mean that anyone is good or anyone is bad. It's just their nature. Like the bee has to buzz, the dogs have to bark, the butterfly has to, flap its beautiful wings, and before that it's also a caterpillar. So all of us have these distinct, unique qualities for which we must be appreciated. And if we are beaten up too much, tortured, troubled, scolded for little things, then we start creating an atmosphere where we are trying to, subdue those things. We are trying to be like, you can't do this, you can't do that, it's bad, it's good. So it becomes like a habit pattern for the adult also when they grow up from childhood to adulthood. And they cannot attract healthy relationships. So I think inner work is also very important, because maximum people do not have actual healthy relationships in the world that we are living in. We are not living in the golden age, we are not living in the silver age, we have just entered the bronze age, the ascension age. We have literally just entered into it. It's been few decades. So that is why you see so much change around you, because all of this scientific and technological advancement happened because of the advent of the age of ascension. So the optimism and the positivity, some of you are working on it by yourself. Despite the fact that you had to suffer so much in this life, I really salute your courage, and I'm also very proud of you, because many a times even God has probably cried along with you. Even God has felt your tears. Even God has felt your pain because of your honesty, because of your authenticity. So you are getting supported by the spirit guides, by the higher beings, by source, by masters themselves. That's why you have divine grace, and that divine grace is helping you to come out from that pain and sadness that you did not have a happy childhood. A lot of star seeds, a lot of twin flames, star seeds I won't say to that number, but star seed twin flame, that combination of star seed twin flame, definitely they don't have a happy or a very enjoyable childhood. So they need to release all of the baggage that they carry, the things that still hurt them so much today. They have to release the unnecessary sadness. They have to release the fear. They have to heal the bottom 3 chakras, which carry the feeling of fear, guilt and shame, of course. All these 3 feelings that need to go away. And then side by side they also need to work on the feeling of uncertainty, which is also attached to the feeling of fear. So guilt, shame and fear. Fear is in your 3rd chakra, that needs to go, the Manipur chakra, 3rd chakra from bottom. Guilt is there, shame is there. So your work that you're doing, I must say that you're doing commendable work. You are doing a fabulous job, because you have to be your own mother and you have to be your own father. And whosoever you are, whosoever is listening to this and whosoever resonates with it, I must tell you that you also chose this template, and you also chose this family, and you also chose this generation that you're in. And all of you people combined, before you were coming here, you had decided that these are the things that you would be healing, and even they have contributed. They have also suffered equally. Everybody is just victim of victims. So they all and you together, you all decided to go through these particular pain bodies, particular events of sadness, so that you can grow as a soul and you don't have to be trapped, or you don't have to be in the cycle of life and death. And by doing that, not only you heal yourself, but you also heal your parents, you also heal your generation, you also heal your whole generation. Basically, you are healing so many people, and you stop it right there. After you, it will not be there. So you are healing humanity, you're healing this planet, you're healing everything that touches you. So that's a very beautiful gift you have. So this is what basically the crux of this channeling is, and I would like to do a part 2 of this channeling. If you all want to listen more, do type a comment and let me know that if you want to know more about this, because there is a lot more coming in, but I want to know if people are interested in this channeling also or not. And you can also work with me on your wounds, on healing your wounds, by doing hand holding sessions, by taking personal sessions, reading sessions. You can get into therapy. You can enhance your experience of inner work, because sometimes what happens is that when people are doing inner work on their own, they are not able to catch hold of certain things that are very important, that need to be released. And sometimes they're also not able to stick to the inner work, because this sadness and this pain is like a monster, it's like a demon. It keeps coming back and it tries to take away all of the progress and all of the hard work that you've done so far. It tries to keep making you feel that you're not good enough, you're not doing fine, you have not achieved anything, you're still a failure, you're a loser. So even when you're doing inner work, sometimes you have to be self-motivated, and on some occasions, in some places, very crucial points in your life, you need to work with someone else. Also, from time to time, you can be on yourself, by yourself, and then you can come back, because this pain is like that. Narcissistic abuse is the most difficult wound to heal. I mean, people spend years and years and years healing this wound, because they have to learn to live with other narcissistic people. It's like you can't run away from them, they are everywhere, and they also give you a stimuli to take you closer and closer and closer and closer to source, to a point, till a point that you're fully integrated with source. So this is where I will close this channeling session. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for being so wonderful and so amazing in your life. You really rock and you really shine. You shine bright, but I know sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes it's very hard, but you're doing your level best, and that's the beauty of whatever you're doing. I will see you soon in another one. You can check out the description box for all the details. It's right below the video. When you click below the video, all of the details are given below. You can use the PayPal link to book the session. And don't forget to write to me when you do that. I must be made aware, because sometimes PayPal does not give me timely notifications. And it happens, guys. It's all technology. It's not perfect all the time. Sometimes the mail goes into spam. So do not share your twin flame ascension journey, or your star seed ascension journey, your light worker ascension journey with me in advance, because I use spiritual tools, modalities, intuitive reading, all of this to get you the best answers for your questions related to your twin flame journey as well. One love, peace out, and Jai Shri Ram.